Greetings, people of the world, it's Rabid, and today I'm going to do the first part of a new series that I'm going to call Do You Even Computer? Now, what these videos hopefully will do is help you become a better PC user and gamer in general by helping you learn how computers work and how to tweak them and things like that. Now, the reason I want to make these videos is because throughout the years I've worked in IT. A lot of my work has been helping people tweak their computers, maintain their computers, and even helping other people get the most out of their frame rates for games and things. I have found a lot of people, probably the large majority of people that I meet that use computers and PC game, have very little knowledge about their computers, especially what's inside of them. That's what I'm going to cover today. How to find what the hardware is in your computer. This is very important because if you want to do video editing, play games, you need to know if your computer meets the system requirements for the programs that you're using. And I find a lot of people don't. They try to play games that exceed their hardware and things, which I'm going to do another video on, how to find out if a game will work on your computer or not. But today we're going to cover the methods in Windows that will allow you to find out what your exact hardware is without ripping apart your computer and looking at the serial numbers on motherboards and video cards and things. Yes, because quite often I ask people, what type of computer do you have? And they will be, it's a Windows computer. And I'll be, no. What type of computer? Not the operating system. What is your computer? What has it got in it and things? And I'll say, it's an Acer computer, or it's a Alienware computer, or it's an ASUS computer. And I'll be, no. What's the hardware in your computer? And quite often I'll be met with, oh, I don't know. So hopefully we'll cover the ways just through Windows on how to do this, and I will also show you a third-party software, if you can see up in the top left corner of the screen, CPU-C. So to begin with, we're going to use the control panel. What I'm going to show you will apply to virtually every modern version of Windows. I would say basically from Windows 95 up until Windows 10. I'm using Windows 10, so some things will be different. The first one's going to be the control panel. If you've got Windows 8 or earlier, you click your Start button, and you'll usually have a control panel option here in your Start menu. If you don't, or Windows 10, it used to be right-click the Start button and you'd have Control Panel under here with Task Manager. As you can see, I've added Control Panel here manually, but I'm going to show you how to find it and get to it if you need to. But yeah, we want to click on the Control Panel. So if you're on Windows 10, click in the search bar, and type in Control, and you'll see it'll show up here, Control Panel. Click that, and it'll load this up. Now, once this is open, we want to go here to System. Once we click System, you'll get a very basic overview of your computer, and as it says, a few basic information about your computer. And should be the same for most versions of Windows. And we can see that I've got Windows 10 Pro, that I've got an Intel Core i5-3570K processor, 32 gig of RAM, that my operating system is 64-bit, and just stuff like my computer name. Really bare bones basic. But we're off to a start. We now know what the processor is in the computer, as well as the memory type, as well as the operating system and the operating system type. For more information, we can now go up here to Device Manager. If we click on Device Manager, we now open this, and it basically is a list of all the hardware that's in your computer. We can see the different audio settings, systems I have in my computer, the camera. Well, that's not showing correctly because I'm using an Xbox 360 webcam. There's all my hard drives. That's important because, I mean, if I have a problem with my hard drive and I need to find out some information or find some tools to help me maintain it or repair it, I can take this WDC, which is Western Digital, this here, which is basically the model number, WD5000. If I enter that into Google and hit enter, it'll bring back search results relevant to my hard drive, and especially manufacturer site or the page for the product, as well as hopefully tools for it. So I could do like that information there, type tools after it, hit enter, and find what I need. Display adapters, we can see I've got GDX 970, because if you saw on that other basic there's no information about stuff like that. There's no hard drive, there's no video card, there's no information about the type of RAM, etc. So we can go through here and we can look at everything that is in the computer. So it's a single processor, but you can see all the different cores here and their default clock speed of 3.4. Okay, but yeah, still very basic. So what we want to do though is we now want to step it up. And to get more detailed information, we can use the DirectX diagnostics tool. DirectX is a API made by Microsoft that is essentially communicates with the video card on Windows to render graphics and things in games. It's a bit more complicated than that, but you can Google that stuff if you're interested. Now again, you will find nothing in the start menu for this. You'll have to manually bring it up, and there's two ways you can do it. You can type in here in the search bar DXDIAG, and then if you click that, it'll run it. That's what we want, the DX diagnostics or DXDIAG. And there's DirectX symbol, or if you do not have a search bar, you can click Windows key and R,
That's the key with the Windows logo between the Control and Alt key on your keyboard, and the R key at the same time, and it'll open up the run bar. Or if you're other versions of Windows, you can actually click the start button and click run. Windows 7, I think, or Windows XP and Vista. And then in there, we just type in dxdiag.exe. Oops, caps are on. Click OK, and it'll start up the DirectX Diagnostics tool. Now, as you can see here on the Systems page, we are already now starting to get more information. Memory shows up in megabytes, but that's 32 gigabytes, so 1000 megabytes to a gigabyte. Page file, DirectX 12, blah, blah, blah. I can see my BIOS, the date the BIOS came out, and the version of it. We can see the build now of Windows, my computer name. But if we click here, we can now get more information about the video card on the display tabs. So we can see now that, yeah, GeForce GTX 970, it says manufacturer NVIDIA, but my card's made by Galax. We can see drivers and the versions and the date that they came out, which can help you in rolling back drivers. But you can also look at the NVIDIA control panel or your AMD control panel for that info. Don't have to worry about the approximate total memory and shared memory, because that's basically, if you see display memory, this is the actual memory on the card, 4 gigabytes, and shared memory is system memory that it can combine into 20 gigabytes of memory. Yeah, that's just shared memory. What you want to worry about here is your video card, the VRAM. 4 gig there. Now if I click on the second display, and a lot of people, especially if you run multiple monitors, will get this. You'll get the 2 displays, but as you see, it's exactly the same information. And that is because I'm running 2 monitors off a single card. Most modern cards have more than one video output, so if you're running 2 displays off a single card, you will see on a couple of display tabs like this. Now my CPU also has what's called Intel HD graphics built into it. So if I plug one of the displays into my main board and enable the Intel HD, I'd have a display there that would come up Intel HD and show shared memory and things. Because it doesn't have its own memory, it's got to use the system memory. We can also look at the sound card and stuff like that here. But again, we've got more information here, but we don't have a huge amount. Like not extremely detailed, like, you know, we can't see things like, you know, what speed and stuff my memory is running at, or what type it is. We do have this button here, save all information. If we click that, we'll save this to the desktop. If we click save, it will get a text file, dxdig text, and if we open that up, we can see we have a lot more information about the computer and what's in it and things. We can see what directory Windows is installed in, for example. Even more information, a lot of technical stuff, but this is handy if you have somebody like me that helps you with your computer. And you can just send me this file and I can see everything that's in your computer, help you find your drivers and things like that, than you having to sit there and memorize everything and tell me or your friends bit by bit what's going on. So let's get out of here and let's look at our third option, which is CPU-Z. This is a free tool that's available online. A lot of technical people like to use this tool because this will give you a really thorough look inside your computer. I'll provide a link for it in the description below. Once it's downloaded and installed, we'll run that. It wants admin privileges, so I can get this extra information, so we'll click yes. Let it load up. It'll say there's an update, which I'm going to bypass. New version. So once we've got it installed and open, this is what we will see. We will see even more information about the CPU. Here we can see what socket type it is. We can see that it's an Ivy bridge. We can see the die of it, the wattage of it, and a bunch of other stuff, including again clock speed. The good thing about this is I've got my processor overclocked, so this can actually show my genuine clock speed, which is, yeah, it'll flicker, but I'm running at 4.2 gig, as you can see, times 42. We can skip the caches here. Most people wouldn't need to worry about that. But now we can actually see what my motherboard is. ASRock Z77 Extreme 6. You can see it's Ivy Bridge chipset. We can see the South Bridge is Z77. We can see the revisions. We can see the BIOS are American Megatrends. And a lot of this information most people won't need, but yeah, you know, it's handy to have like your motherboard. If you want to get a new video card or memory, you got to look up your motherboard manufacturer, and like I can look up the Z77 Extreme 6, but get a product page for it, which will show me all the supported RAM types, manufacturers, as well as the supported processors and things. Because I can probably put about 100 different types of processors into my motherboard and about 1,000 different types of memory. So we go click here, we get even more information about the memory. We can now see it's DDR3, we can see it's dual channel, we can see I've got 32 gigabytes, but we can also see the frequency of it and latency and stuff, the timing. But if we want even more information, we click SPD here, and we can now see a slot by slot and look at my memory. We can see that each module, I have 4 modules of 8 gigabytes here. It's DDR3. We can see the type is PC3 10700, even though it says max bandwidth. We can see the manufacturer's G-Skill, and we can see the part number, aka the model number. Again, dual channel. And this here, the XMP, is a profile for basically changing the clock speeds of your memory. if your motherboard supports overclocking of the memory. Now, the reason that this is important is because if, say I had 8 gigabytes of memory and it was this G skill here, I want to match it. So it's helpful to know that I've got G skill and that this is the model number. I can take this F3 1600 C9 stuff, put it into Google, hit search, and hopefully I can find matching memory, because you want your memory to match. You don't want to mix and match different brands or different types, different speeds of your memory. You know, it can work. If you mix and match memory, it tends to go, all the memory sticks will lock in at the slowest speed stick in the slots, but you want your memory to match for compatibility and to avoid issues. So yeah, using this I can say, oh well, I need 3 sticks of G skill, you know, F3 1600 C9 8 GSR memory, and then I can go out and buy those 3 sticks. But as you can see, yeah, if I click through all the modules, you'll see the same in every slot, because they're all the same types of stick, all the same sticks of memory for my total of 32. If we go to graphics, we can see even more information. A lot of this won't be relevant, but we can see the memory, we can see the memory type, we can also see the current core and memory speeds. And then there's a little benchmark tool, which you won't have to worry about because we're just looking at hardware. And then on the about page, we can actually see, yeah, again, we can see the build number of our version of Windows and which Windows it is, 64-bit or 32-bit. And again, we get the option to say reports, which is similar to the DirectX diagnostic text file. Do the same here, so we can just have a quick look, do that, open it up, and now we can see that same information that we're looking at before. A lot of it will be very, very technical stuff, but we can see, yeah, specific timing to do with the memory profile it's using, so on and so forth. Now, the reasons, again, that it's important to know what's inside your computer, especially for gaming, is because, here we go, if we look at PUBG here, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is a popular game at the moment. If you go to the store page for any game, or if you buy a game even in the physical product in a box, as rare as it's becoming, on the back of the box it will have the system requirements, as you can see here. And that's very important because we can see the minimum requirements, which tells you the minimum hardware. Minimum means what you need to run the game at essentially its lowest settings. And then they usually have recommended over here. It doesn't have too much information, but recommended is usually, this is the computer that setup that the company recommends you have to run the game to its fullest potential. So something like PUBG here, as we can see, I've got 32 gig of RAM, so yeah, no worries there, minimum 6 gigabytes of RAM. PUBG, I think, for me, uses about 10 or 11 gig. I have to check that. But yeah, I'll do it in a future video where I cover the system requirements and things in more detail and why it's so important. But yeah, you know, 2 gigabyte card. But I just want to point out and see it's important because it says 8 gigabytes of RAM here. And you might say, oh, I've got 6 gigabytes of RAM in my computer, or I've got 4 gigabytes of RAM in my computer. And you're not going to be able to run it. Obviously, if it says 6 gig, 4 gig is not going to cut it. But 6 gigabytes of RAM means that's what the game wants. Not how much RAM you have in your computer. It's saying at minimum, PUBG wants 6 gig of RAM. So if you have 6 gig of RAM in your computer, which I do have a friend who has a computer with 6 gig, Windows still wants its RAM. So if Windows, say, is using 2 gigabytes of RAM and you go to play PUBG, then PUBG can only access that 4 gigabytes of RAM, or maybe even less. The game might run, but you might be prone to crashing as your memory fills up and stuff's loaded to it. So yeah, this 6 gigabytes here and most games, it's how much the game wants or the program wants. It is not how much memory is in your computer. So I thought I'd better clear that up, which is different to your video cards here, because you know you can't change the amount of memory in your video card. That stuff's bolted on. So yeah, you need at least a 2 gigabyte 660 or 2 gigabyte HD 7850. But as I said, I'm going to do some more of these videos covering this sort of computer basic stuff, and I will go into how to work out whether your computer can run a game and whether it's worthwhile you spending money on that game, or if it's time to start thinking about doing an upgrade. Okay? Anyway, hopefully this will help you become better in your proficiency with computering and knowing what's inside your computer, and you'll no longer have to sit there scratching your head when somebody says, what's in your computer? Okay, so I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Before I go, I just want to say I'll probably post a link to my Patreon down below. I haven't really bothered with the fundraising and stuff because I've reached the point where the monetization of my video would be finally paying off. I've got the right amount of subscribers, I'm getting enough views, and unfortunately YouTube has gone and changed all the rules. And yeah, I will no longer be able to monetize at the end of this month, and I'm not going to be able to make any money now. I just do this as a hobby, but it is nice to get a bit of income coming in, because if you make revenue, this is what most YouTubers want to do, you can focus on making higher quality content and dedicating more and more time. But unfortunately, when you're not making money, you got to do this as a hobby and not give up your day job. So I'm going to post a link to that down below if you'd like to donate to help me become a more professional channel and get better equipment and stuff like that so I can produce better quality videos. Please donate, it'll be very appreciated. Otherwise, like and subscribe, or don't, be a rebel. And yeah, I might do a video discussing the YouTube situation. May do. I always say I'm going to do videos, but never do. But yeah, I'll also post a link to the Discord channel below, so if you'd like to come to talk to me directly, and my mates that we hang out with, yeah, pop in and talk to me in real time. As always, if you have any questions or comments, then yes, obviously, comments for the comment section. And same with the questions. If you have any problems or issues or want some advice and I'm able to help, I will. But again, time to wrap this up. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you on the next video. Rabid out. Bye-bye.